The War Golem presents ETO Roughnecks Void Supremacy, November 20th, 2021.
Welcome everybody to the Void Supremacy. Participating in this Void Supremacy with the ETO Roughnecks, and we wound up winning. Spoiler alert! But this video is to try to help some of y'all that maybe want to improve your tactics on Void Supremacy. Right now, I've only been playing the game for a short period of time, loving it. It's pretty much very similar to multiplayer Battletech online that I played back in the, well, kind of revealing my age, I guess, but back in the late 80s, early 90s, when we had dial-up service. You know, you had to put the phone on the modem and everything, and it was janky at best, but it's got a lot of the components because it's got like a voting system. It's got basically you capture forts, and it can allow you to establish roles for like different officers in your guilds and whatnot, but now none of that has to do with the Void Supremacy. But the Void Supremacy is kind of like if you play Clash of Clans, this will be like your monthly battles in the league. So except this is just a 1v1 alliance thing, to where it's like your alliance versus somebody else's alliance, try to score the most points. So tactics wise, first off, I would suggest watching some other videos. Don't take my word for it, but when you're doing the matchmaking for it, so let's just say that when you read it, you think, oh my goodness, I've got to sign up 30 people. No, you don't, because it's up to 30. The game company that makes this game, sometimes the translations from Chinese to English are not the best. So it's 100% confirmed. We've done it. You can look at this Void Supremacy. I think we had like between 13 17 players, something like that, on our side. And what you do is you just get the players to sign up, or you get the officers to sign them up, and basically say, hey, how many people's going to participate? So figure that out. Then maybe bump your numbers, add a couple of more people just in case they show up, and then get confirmed substitutes that if for some reason the people that signed up don't participate or don't show up that day, then they can just slide in. Like I want to say, like once it gets down to like a minute left or something like that, if all the people that are signed up to participate don't get in, then it'll let your alternates in or substitutes in. So that's part of it, getting people signed up. The next part would be sign up for multiple time slots. So the game, inside the game, it has a clock in there, and it has the UTC, and it has wherever your current time zone is, and it'll basically allow you to calculate what the what time your time, like I'm in Central Time Zone, and I want to say we're like UTC -6 right now, and so you figure that out, and then because all the times that it's going to give you for options are going to be listed in UTC. So pick multiple time slots, because that when you do that, it gives the algorithm a longer string to work with, as far as like trying to match you with somebody with equal power. Because if you go in there and you've only picked one time slot, and the only person to match you against is just way more powerful or way less powerful, that's who you're going to get matched against. So I mean, that's no fun for anybody involved. And so if you pick multiple time slots, you're going to have an opportunity to be matched against somebody that's going to be pretty much a fair fight. In this one, for some reason, I didn't start recording until about 15 minutes in. Don't know why, but you can tell we pretty much already had it under wraps about 15 minutes in. But they did still put up a pretty good fight. So that being said, and I know I'm saying that a lot, but I'm not going to even edit that out because I don't care. This is just for shits and giggles, as they say, to try to help people out. But anyway, get everybody to either watch some videos, you know, watch this video, watch somebody else's video, but watch Void Supremacy videos to where they get an idea of what the important buildings are. The main 3 buildings, they don't open up until about 15 minutes in to the match, and that would be the Central Command Station, and then Overseer Station, and the Armory. You'll just have to look at those buildings, and you can see for yourself what the bonuses are, but the Armory buffs up your damage and whatnot, and the Overseer Station, every so many minutes, I've really not paid attention to how frequently it pops up, but every so many minutes it gives you a chance to sabotage a building that the enemy's holding. So basically it sends in like little covert ops, and they go in there and they blow up some of the troops. That's helpful, but anyway, they're also the most point givers during the battle. So the Central Station being the one with the most points. So I recommend, as far as strategy goes, if you've got, you know, 5 to 10 people or more, you know, this would work all the way up to 30, the full amount of participants. But your highest level guys, try to get them to jump all the way across the map right off the bat. You go ahead and position your camera so that you can see the 2 forts over there and pick one or the other. But as soon as the countdown timer goes to 0 and it starts ticking down for the Void Supremacy actual battle, as soon as that happens, click on warp jump and warp jump across to the other side of the map with your strongest players. And of course, this works mainly if you're not way outmatched. But like if you're only got if your highest level players only have like T5 and the enemy has like T6, T7, you're gonna get demolished. So if you're sort of on even ground, get your best players, jump across to distract the enemy. So what that would look like would be jump over there by the first two forts from their safe zone, and then hopefully that's going to distract those enemy players to where they attack your battle barge, or they're trying to kick you out of the little strategic fortress there. Another video, I can't remember the content maker's name, but you know, he said, "Oh my God, it takes so many heal potions to try to keep my troops healed up." Yeah, it does. And also, if you're a complete noob like I was the first time, you don't have to pop back over to your battle barge to heal. You've got like 3 little icons down there, as you can see. One of them looks like a little needle with the medical symbol below it or behind it, and that's the one you click. That's where you go to heal. That's where you go to speed up the heal. And then the next one's for warp jumping. And then I don't even remember what the third one is because I've got my phone turned sideways right now. But anyway, so like I said, you don't have to go back out, because if you go back out, then you're gonna have to zone back in. It's really kind of wonky. It'd be nice if they disable that, or at least make a pop-up to where it's like, hey, you're leaving the Void Supremacy match. So do you really want to do this? But they don't. But again, Void Supremacy, very fun, love it. So anyway, your strongest players jump across the map. The rest of your team spread out. Get them to talk amongst themselves and pick a tower, fortress, whatever you want to call them, to warp to and launch your troops. And it is much, much faster if you warp jump next to the building. Now, that being said, later on in the game, after you've got some buildings garrisoned, every time you warp jump, all the armies return to your base. So if you were the only person garrisoning one of the buildings and you warp jump somewhere else, guess what? There's no garrison in there, and so that's a free grab for the enemy. So just keep that in mind. So anytime you warp jump after you've garrisoned troops, make sure that you send your garrisons back out. Now, speaking of garrisons, I recommend garrisoning 4 armies. So that put garrisons in 4 different buildings, or capture 4 buildings, however you want to look at that. But if you don't do the capturing and you're, want to be a team player, go ahead and garrison up to 4. And then that leaves you with 1 army to troll around with and try to harass the enemy or participate in rally attacks to try to kick the enemy out of buildings that they take. So now when the timer, you like 45 minutes, I think, because it's an hour-long match. So once you've got to the end of the first 15 minutes, it's going to tell you, hey, look, phase 2 is beginning or whatnot. And that's when those 3 center buildings open up. You need to make sure that your strongest players jump to the center, because that is the most points, and whoever controls that is probably going to win unless you control every other building. So jump your strongest players into the center building, get them to launch as soon as the first 15 minutes is up. Just boom, 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 send them in there. And of course the enemy's going to be sending troops too, so it might be a little back and forth right there as y'all take and retake that, but you do get capture bonuses as well. So hopefully by this time you've distracted them. The majority of the bases, buildings are controlled by your armies, and then you wind up consolidating, getting the center fort, the armory, and the research station, and hopefully you're able to get your alliance to be team players and send garrison troops to the different buildings. So the different ways you can get points: obviously capturing a building, obviously holding on to the building, and then phase 3 there'll be some derelict battle barges that pop up on the map. It's like a resource node. You just go and mine them. You'll kick an enemy off. You'll basically fight the enemy and kick them off if they're on there. And if not, you can just sit there and farm it. But again, I would not, if it's a close battle, I would not be pulling troops out of garrisons to the point to where you leave the buildings vulnerable, because you still will be getting many more points by holding on to the buildings. So and I guess to kind of throw a bone to the people who are not capturing or not holding the buildings or not back and forth battling to take the buildings, let me just emphasize this. At the point in which you figure out that y'all have got it locked down, I highly recommend finding one of the enemies. If you're a lower level player, make sure that one of the higher level players has already zeroed out the battle barge, because you'll just be zeroing your troops every time you attack. If you're like got T4, T5 and attacking a T6, T7, yeah, you're just gonna get wasted. But if one of your higher level teammates has already zeroed it, just spam all 5 marches against that battle barge. I would warp jump to the enemy battle barge, sit there right beside it, and just spam trips. Now that's kind of counterintuitive if you're, again, a total noob like me and you read those questions that the little guy roaming around your battle barge asks, to where you can get like the little crates, supply crates. One of the questions is like, which of the following does not provide points towards victory when inside Void Supremacy? Well, the answer to that one is attacking other opposing player's battle barge. Well, yeah, it does not give you alliance points towards victory, but it does give you a butt ton of points towards the MVP, like personal points. And we've confirmed that. I got MVP 2 weeks ago, and then Basilius got MVP this time. But again, it has something to do, what we think is the fact that the free blade counts as a troop. So if your army can take out the enemy player's free blade, because the free blade does not die, I mean, it just keeps, it's there every time you attack. So you're going to get points every time you attack. And if you're parked right beside him, the travel time for your marches is pretty much 5 to 10 seconds, I guess. And you just sit there and spam it. And if you do that for 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to get a lot of points. And but again, you got to make sure that you keep some troops over in the buildings, to where you don't let your enemy sneak around and take all your troops. And it does kind of count on the fact that the enemy doesn't just teleport back into the safe zone. Because if they all teleport back in the safe zone, then it is what it is. But that pretty much sums up Void strategy, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, follow, share, tell your mama, tell your kids, hide your wife, all that good stuff. We are from around that area, so just gonna make sure that everybody knows that I will be posting these little videos from time to time to try to help out new players, because Warhammer, I've always had a passion for it, especially the 40K. I just really never got a whole lot into the tabletop miniature gaming aspect of Warhammer because of rolling all the dice. I played War Machine, which I don't know if you play many tabletop games, you've probably heard of it, but it's a pretty cool game that the developers pretty much made it to where there was only like one major faction that could win. But you know, if you're not playing tournament scene and you're playing like for fun amongst friends and they're not insane power gamers, you can have a really good time playing War Machine. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But again, like, follow, share, tell your mama, tell your wife, tell your daddy, tell your cousins too, that War Golem's got the best battle reports out there. So I'm going to leave you with this video and turn the music back up to where maybe you can enjoy watching it. Oh, and by the way, if you win and you're hitting the point number for the amount of points you need to get, where you get like enough tokens, Void Supremacy tokens, it'll take you about 3 Void Supremacy matches to get enough tokens to buy the 10 shards to unlock Seth. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. A little tired, worked last night and hadn't been to bed yet. So anyway, y'all have a good one, and War Golem out.